a prisoner on wheelchair. This prisoner cannot walk on foot. This prisoner has bullets in his legs. This prisoner is a notorious bandit whose criminality have led to the dismissal of not just one prison officer. He is, a serial escapee from prison. Moro, even on a wheelchair, this person still escaped from Gambia prison. Gambia is a safe haven for criminals and bandits. This is the problem. Because somebody who has gone short on his legs and cannot walk on his own, needs support to move from one place to another, cannot move a distance without being seen or sighted, is a person who could actually pretend to be, psychiatric or have some mental illness, to be taken to tanka just for him to escape. Momi kasi puso kono ngo. Eko momi yalon ko ya soron dolla prison ko na buka tamo no na singola kasi puso kono ko la Canada. Alko nyamba ko paretal. Alko nyinnon system odin to lafta minna mi ya continue nyamba ko ka. Dami yalon ko hani momi yalon ka buka tamo no na singola asa bandi ya ka ko sifa beke wolka escape non dolla prison. No. This is just beyond a joke. It's funny and we can laugh about it, but it tells a lot about the kind of system we have in place. It tells a lot when you are going out there to vote, you know what you're voting for. That somebody who cannot even walk on foot, somebody who is on a wheelchair, could escape from prison. What is going on in this country? And to see how this Mankabu of a guy, that is his name, how Mankabu escaped, and when Mankala escaped, follow today. This is a serial and a notorious criminal who often would escape from prison, and people who are supposed to guard him would be dismissed. But this time around, look at what happened, and you look at how cheeky. People don't respect our systems, and people don't care about some of these folks and what they've committed. And you told them maleke kanande because ni told me kanande olbe ken wala nyadile wala nyinde ko momi ya lon ko abe wheelchair la kono where fonke ko he has psychological problem. You did not actually go to take a prognosis of what his problems are, because nemo ya fonke nyawo nyama drone tolke chikala ngesa mbatanka without having proper psychiatric doctors who would actually have a proper examination and evaluation of this person to know what exactly the problems are. They just take you there and then dump you there. But the prison officer minyanda de gadla, because to free in and all of that, decided to go to sleep, sleeping on duty. Sleeping on duty. What would get you into that? Now, imandang sleeping on duty la. But then the next person, he just signed in and left and went home. But again, the people who are supposed to be, Minika gate old man would la, the person who actually mans the gate at Tanka, I think is an ex-convict. So how do we actually evaluate the people we give jobs to? And this person, momi yalon kakasi puso kono yalo buka afon sambano. What a fancy jumpela no. Sa ofindita no nyadi le fo tada. Fo ba Gambia la silol benin kenyo. Ofindita no nyadi le fo Canada. But Onyado is a prank, man. Barrow's government is a risk to our national security. So what can the prison authorities tell us on this matter? What can the prison authorities tell us about this matter? How did Mankabu escape? Somebody who cannot walk on foot. Somebody who under no circumstances can move on his own without a wheelchair. Somebody who is on support. That womari ya atoli feeling the entire prison authorities. I found ko akumala dunda nyokon. Atoli yo samba tanka. Way finti no tanka. Tanka bunda be sorende. Wo finti no wota nyadi la fo escape ta. Hani fo bi atolo mo mutano hani sate fankon. This is what you people have reduced this country to? And this is what you tell us that you're actually governing this country? Who is ruling this country? Who is the authority in this country? a bunch of criminals who would only criminally connive to frame innocent young people. But of course, those who perpetrate heinous crimes would definitely be left to escape even when they are on wheelchair. And then nobody dares to actually question it. Nko, alnene ya moy muntole momi ya lon ko abuka tamo nona singola. Mankabu buka tamo nona singola. Moli ya bunki dola le ya singola cutting. Wana wasing cutting ngole be sirim pus okono. Atolo katol ye wala samba tanka kala kungola dunda nyokono. Atolo ye woni prison official min samba do wo sign in tale doronga seida. Do bi je wotate la be sinola. Bara mankabu findi da no banda nyadile. Mimbe bunda man kan di gatekeeper nyinkado chabolo katara mini bulu. Wala manke prison official di. Wala mu authority that within the tanka complex. Say mankabu findi da no woto nyadila na la pus ofa Canada tara mundo. Obe kana no la nyadile mankabu Canada no nyadile. Ning ayata ko prison authorities or probably the tanka authorities don't know anything. But how did you actually take this person to tanka without actually taking him to medical examination to establish the facts and know the prognosis of his so-called psychological problem? It tells a lot about how terrible the systems are in this country. It tells a lot about how negative ethnicity has infiltrated and clouded our views on reality, and then we are always just about sentimentalism instead of looking at what is going to help this country. Oral nyambangola nyato talaje. Iwe waramandara UMT kufola jango ntebe mimfoka wala nyintiko. How do prisoners just escape prisons? Most so many along all katara sirim pus olo kono. Wala mo kachata ati jang. Atolo kamimfo ani molo kamimfo wala fatatale. Moro politiko boka ke jusolo politiko hakilo la kata samba. Fomo nyine de fomo manke nyinde politician manda na fafenna. None of them, none. Politician man na fa fenna anun dem man sula hani fenna la politician bul hana dara fama bi ita ka min support wala ke dam man sati. I don't need nothing from them, not even a job or whatever. So what does a politician benefit me? Ni man na do man ngodun dije politician na do man man dun dala jibo kono so politiko man na fa fenna hana fengo fe man na fa wala de. So it doesn't matter who I think I support or whatever. Either I support this or I support that. I support the opposition in their entirety, and it's my view that the opposition need to come together. Ni woman ke no fana wanya bol bulje parande lata ko kelen na lade Gambia nyanta bola nyi mara le jaw ko no la mi ya lon ko hani president la mi ya lon ko ibuka tamo no ni singole pus so ko ne ka kana wanyande da sula la wonende da sunula la nyande bala falale. That should be it. Ko momi ya lon ko abuka tamo no na singola simfula fo moto wala o singo be katin tale yo bum kidol la kesol de faare wo singol kono o buka tamo na abuka ko keno sai imagine ite wo samba tanka we kana woto obe kana no la nyadile nko la fali alanga adama la mansa kundale evaluate wala kumaya taja. And this is basically what the truth is, that somebody prison nilo authority be meni alonko kitu ya usenu boja na bare musobula e murunta ye aresi ye tilimbali ato dundilo prison okono momi ya alonko abuka tama no na singola sintala akasi pus olokono e ko wala kanata Gambia la prison olokono onyanta kala Gambia no be sulo lati onyanta ntolbele niyo kuyala onyanta ntolbele barandira kad wala nyinde ko Gambia had turned into a safe haven for criminals and bandits. They said barenda nga mera mo sifa besa kanano da bare mo min ka si pus okono obuka fa samba no kendeke Gambia ndollo dulale be nin kenye bambalol bare odun tan o kenyo kono nyaadi da fo Canada o Canada no woto nyaadi le. This is the question that we all need to ask the system and ask the prison authorities, ask the entire security apparatus of this country, what is going on in this country. But that was basically what I wanted to talk about. And I'll quickly look into one thing that people want to, sentimentalize that has to do with the IGP. Yalong kukilimbeje. Ntema IGP long. I think I only know he's from within the combo areas because that niaja fanango long, mole lafta nunka fuko, yalon ne nyanda nyi support la na kombongo long kaya moro. Ndabuka mo support la kombonga yakang. Mboka mo support la, maninka yaka walela jola yaka walela fenka kante. I don't do that. You know what? Ningaja ko tonya nentilunge babaraka wala ntela miro to karanta ta fona no kontanga mira odoro no mtonya. But ntela miro to. nintela jondi ya miro e min dinna ko nyinka min fo dentel jikita ko wala mo to nyani tin ngoti se fa sa no kam because nintel la miro mode andong adama dungo man tambi na so la maybe ntanga min mira ni min beje wala fana fatata la, but that is based on ntanga minje, but not because imu nyinnete wala bota janala. I don't do that. Wokola, I don't know this person. I have never even in my life met this person. I have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with this particular person. Paramoro ni konye biko IGP Tourist should be awarded the National Heroes Award. Mekudanta na jibela di. Jumalom IGP Tourist. IGP Touré la mas ala nyaton ko yakoto police kundalo e ka sunkutin ngol fa Gambia nge faari ngol talare silo kan mi yalon ko atelbe maradin tolla internal security la atelon tolla police kuntiyote mi yalon ko tol natol be la security atel nyanta marala wala bare ka fondin ke musol faani banko kan ko e ka amala si kumbal mol ka mol dingol fa ke fay silo ka wonyama ni IGP la nyaton ko yakoto be ka ke wala atol la hiroti ngo ni IGP kilo ngola ka galala fonnin kele min ya lon ko ka findi ka tandi ko tilimbal ya nin na fulo sunya min be nyimban ko kan ndol ka findi pour ko wala kela tela ka police le ki pour yeta wala tilimbal ya ke bute ke la rastal sabe bala ka dol talo kuntu bala kate soron anin ka dol mota ino kate dundi prison kono ke put into incommunicado ke bute ka tajinta nyin IGP kilo ngola ta dan dol la burfut hani daral to ala fonnin kele ki je ka tiaga so fay molla bungol kono ka molla palanterol tay. That is your hero. Yeah, for Kavoko is sentimental, is it's out of hate. Why do I have to hate the IGP? I am a family. I am Tora Manala as an individual. I am a family or I am Tora Manala. Nothing, nada. Alanga Tonya for Nunkabara no Tonyala. You know, Mukoti member sort of thing. Never condemned Yatilina while I am a family. But IGP Kirumala Nyaton Kayakoto. What along Kitio a Molubula? Iko nyini iko barata nyimina te itolo mambara la kitiyo yebula IGP la lonkango minti wolankat to maintain law and order in this country, but wole barata luanta yala nyimbango kanja alko wolon hero ti mon hero si fala wote luanta ya hero bang bara fo luwa bunya hero momi yalon ko allota ko kitiyo e nyini min bulaten ting justice jeta ko nyin alko nyinda barata nyinanta ko imam barala kata alman fengo sarto la fena nja alman firindir fenne fena nja mi ya atandi ko nyin la barata nyin wotonta la kitiyo ye bulale nyanta sere la suwo kono nyin IGP ning police interior minister ni mo kotengol, they criminally connive and kidnap these people and of course send them back to jail illegally. Atol ko wala atol la hiroti al konta nyanta sonna wala fanta ka diamato le to yala fonka diamato le nga min safe na man die ite da bondi la jete la hajola are ko be na be den na moro ni ben nan ni be nyoje la jaden tabuka mo nya ko na jibe wala de moro hana atara fon ko ni bota bakilin fakili na you publicly attack me yen attack nya min be attack la wolto. It's as simple as that. Ntama whole life so do kavo ko we nya kasa dunta jabo da jana moro. I don't live my life to impress anybody. When dolmo do badi ngol lede ntol nyamam bo mo fe andu mansula fana mo la fenna de anu ngalo ne mo fana mansula na fenna ka dunya bo la nyama ni ndo wulinde ko hani mansula itala woto ndo wulinde afo mo fana mansula ndala woto min beto mbola fola min beto imari fana to yo foje bara ni ko be dun nan kasida de be nyola be dun nan nyo kasida la ka ndata sonna ite afo ko e be dun nan ta kasida mi firije wulu nyama nyi nyanti ando e la banku di yama ndara nyato atso ni ko mo fonye tilimbali yaka min tambita wala mbola murinde kan dunya be wala nyama ala nga do mon no nyo fe. Oh, one thing though, there can never be utopia in anything. Mbeta d'accord no la kana on anything. Ite lata min na ebe wala fola nte lata min nambe wala fola nin sa fono nyoy horomo nin bunya ko nga fono bar nin ko mba sambala nin tilimbali ala boto ya samman ntaka nyame don taka sambene ka wala nyame, because the life is simply and squarely reciprocal. You respect me, I respect you. You want to demean me, bro, let's get at it. Nteloko nin IGP den tamal la ka jarata moye woke hero ti jankato nyin no moti mi yalon ko kabiren kitu ya usieno nyolo bola tele tata yeri arrest ameri arrest tonyakan amemuta tonyakan aye murundi mile 2 without a court order, without anything. and ye arrest tomorrow min name arrest with any arrest warrant. Woto ni IGP manke luan bunyalati. Ni manke moti mi yalon ka jarta mo ya fo ita mo hero lete. Iba dira la ka mo hero lete wala nyimdo. Oh, he's a hero that Gambian young women can be killed in the streets of this country and nothing will come out of it. He is a hero that Gambian young women could go to work and people meet them at their workstations and kill them. That is a hero, you know, who is leading our police force. Because Gambia had turned into, a nation of no security. Dami yalon ko funding kil kapo bangkol bill to kananan ka bank dolla banko ka pur ka dun dolla ba ko nakatatu ba bu ko masilola. Where is our national security? Where is our territorial integrity? Reforms those reforms should reflect in our society, and society need to see those, the impacts of those reforms. What exactly, one single thing, tell me one single thing that you think that of course is exceptionally great from this IGP that somebody need to actually call him a hero. I respect the fact that he comes time and time again to meet with the public to actually have a conversation. But again, ning IGP kilong wala nyatong kaya ko tolong police wala Facebook page ya Gambian citizen will block je ka fo kon we cannot even comment on their page. That is a dictatorial institution led by conniving criminals. I'm not referring to this specific person, but I'm talking about the generality of the leadership of the police force and then the actions of the police, with respect to the public. So one thing is, Ninko be IGP muhirolati. That means we are actually validating the actions of the entire police force towards the citizenry. Ninko IGP muhirolati. What a police be okota drol be muhirolati. But IGP le benyaton kaya la police kunda. What tilimbalia keta police kunda to be. IGP bears direct or an indirect responsibility. Therefore, glorifying that person is actually accepting everything that the police are doing to the young people of this country. For kabiri ka aliuba muta kala rasta muta ka fai moto kono luanta ya kono tajirinte ya kono fato le nyama woje. Ato lo kontrol ko wala ato la hiroti. Momen ka Gambia dinni ngolo bute ke tilimbalia ke sorong tilimbalia ni tajirinte ya kono la ka kuole ke la mi ya lon ka mandara lo lin silo ni sarato la kan ato lo ko wolo moti mi ya lon ka jarata ka nyarandi. Al control dol nyanda sonna wala la moro na jarate te ka nyarandi te wasafe ba safela dami barante be min folante bola fola itante de nol itante forin la kula ndana mamem ana ninga dol je ka foja ntel tol lo te fe janne kabiri be usino fen ko la hey ne usino man dem bala na man dem fala maybe Allah after wala moyla na man dem bala na man dem fala. Of course, he's my homie from the hood. Yes, I respect the fact that I decided, you know what, I think this guy did not. And I feel the need to support him. I will do that. So you cannot use that person's case to try to actually make me accept some of the things that you probably want to say. You did nothing for me because momenta sorong. Hey, mone na manda samba police, mone na mante dundi police diamukono. Ntela hajita mola kula fongoto soko moben samba la police. Accidentally, maybe someday I could, but come deliberately, mo ya ko ngara mal mola sama police wala kula kena wana na man sodo nyundunya balu ko tane molte mo ka hakilo to jelade bar ku kele ngo fana londe lan na tambe ko mo nana bu ko fo mo fana yede andum I don't even in a way ka ko mbeta ko mala fola mo mi yala ko so machining amari sena bonon ko ta nan jala yala no boy ndangan dandula lonne de ngan dandula lonne dunya ko no tol nyanta min kala ndang wolon ni manya min kala fana kan dandula lo wala bar min kumara wala nyinde ko mbe denta min wala mu gambiati so nimbe to nya fola no nyoy nga to nya fon no nyoy but it ta fola ko karla ko diata nyala karla ko man dianye and then to actually look at it ka foko Omari be reforms nyole fekan nanjang. You cannot look at things out of afanya ko. So I saw one dude he is a very funny guy and I really like his videos, ning for you pakoring wala mala nyadi is it Amadou Kinkoli along Gambia along Bankutimi along is a very funny one. One thing about me is I pay attention to detail, because one thing is you don't want to be caught unaware. I have been on this app for long. Video I see them intermittently and all of that. Funny phone call, malong nana maje nana mang anything. I never had anything to do with him. I wrote my post that I don't think the IGP is worth of a heroic award. This dude came down. Oh, you are writing out of hate and anger, misinformation, atondi propaganda. Kuma jama ko fa ko para mo dole bije nyim banko kan fo angale kan kuma ba fo la ka die toliya bang. Oh, that is basically how they think of people. Come fa I've been on this app for the longest time. Ntanga ko sifa bela fo jang itana na man hani like kendala posto ina na man hani comment keje bare bingo IGP manyana kala nyindika nyinde ndiri bal nyi angale kan kuma bal mi yalon ko fonta fama baran ko fa je bare taka angale kan bal la safe jang ite wol be sifa savente wodla yana pare ko moro bare nganyi min fotendu wala ite kan fandi tende ngaji kide IGP de atela nyaton ko ya ko to londe Usenu bo jarri arrest jande e man fen foto de man jabire ko don ni IGP kilo ngala nyaton ka ya ko to long ala police ole min be do ko wala ko do tada mandinare ya Omar Baji fadak e murunta e fania fala fusayato wala ato la hiroti ngoy ko wato wati abe gala la molo arrest le be di pale be tajirinte ya ni sifa be tilinela wala ete mari la hiroti ba pareta kanyi angale kambal min safente moronte meta lombin nene melon dunia dula don tenene ma foete sabe sinkoto pareta na ma fonte fango hay wala hello bite nan dala poste de kanyi kuma bal safente abeni nendiri jawja wala kamera ko nanga kula kila among honey 1 hour see the dude went deleted his post, wrote, oh yeah, you're my big brother, whatever. I'm not laughing. Sometimes some of you think I'm probably a little old or whatever. No, I'm a very little kid. Ask the people that I grew up with in the hood. So all I know when people are like, no, some of you don't know because you think, oh no, boy, I'm a small bro, man, yo, magbutolo ni yo doto, you come to the internet, you write insults to people without even knowing them. The next minute you delete the post. But before you delete that post, people very close to me, my close allies, jump to click like or probably love buttons on that post. And I'm like, dude, did you really love that? This nigga is not even arguing. This nigga is insulting me. That's what you love? Are you crazy? But again, one thing kumoti. Kumo bedami wala nyentiko. When people are critical of the system and you support the system, go to your wall and support the system. You don't come to my wall to insult. Because one thing about me is that, and don't insult and jump and say, oh no, if you want, you block me. Boy, I don't block nobody. Let me tell you one thing. I'm one of the most democratic persons in my view. Again, in my view, because I don't speak on what other people think. In my view, because I don't block nobody. I don't delete nobody's comment. I would leave it there. Where I think you are trying to argue responsibly, I will, of course, engage you in the most productive way. And the one thing about me is life is reciprocal. You come nicely, I engage you nicely. You come roughly, I engage you roughly. It's as simple as that. Dunya be wala nyama. But one thing I know is, I wouldn't say it would never happen, but you can't get me unaware because I pay attention to every detail. Honey like you all like on comments on my wall. I know who likes it. So some of you, of course, you don't even read stuff and then you start liking them. Be careful because whatever you like is, and whatever you actually, the trend you're following is basically how I categorize you. And I just hold my horse and watch you. But one thing is you make the mistake of trying to come at me, nigga, we got to deal with it decisively. As simple as that. So, wala mo kuti. Because modo bije wala katare konnante yakale be jow yakay nene me lom fang wala damma ni en yo je laren dami fo be dala le yefa. Simply because you are a little police officer, I respect everybody in the police force, but I have every problem with the police leadership. And you cannot squarely, kind of ridicule or to reduce it to, it's specifically on Usenu Bojang's case. That is enough reason to think that the IGP does not deserve in any way to be called a hero. A hero of what? A hero of malgovernance? A hero of Luantaya, a hero of deliberately subjugating citizens, a hero of maltreating citizens, a hero of persecuting citizens. That is all persecution. There is nothing in it. Adol nyaabe wala mol min yala ko e molla ni solo ci kaje ko yolo wafu ke me konon dolla asalo kana shiral ni solo fintin nal ye wafu mol ya ko me konon don sa jole mi be fare no wojane ka fo je fo ni kata afrika mod la ton di farato fam ali e besu nyanyo ko dal mur ndal ka fo mol ko be filtal atol le murun ko den gatol ko nyin IGP wala munti o mu munete hero ay mu hero yala ke ja mi yalon ko president's brother-in-law mo mi yalon ko ka wala ni mama jabi je ibe bulo tela nyo bulo fay ka kaka mi yalon ka manke banku dingoti lu wolo abe na banku dingol nenna abe mol nenna abe mol kajafila abe dunna mol kasida abe mol ko sifa be tilina mol la bar IGP ni wala ka bulo te nyo bulo fay ka kaka wala nyinde ko ibe minna wala diata tol ye wala tol la hiroti ay alkana dum mol kasida alkana dum mol kasida nga to nya fon no ñoy this country sinni wala sina dañ koy tek ci dega du ay waxi comme ka ñu dajé fele ne le deka ken du ko doxale non yow fan nga musa dega nit ko xamantene da fay tok ci pouce mën ta doxal bopam koku mu escape from prison foko musa degé yow IGP bu ngeen ni wax ne koku lañ fi wara jox koku lañ fi wara daf hero mo fi tok mama bu xamantene day saga askan bi yeb di saga nit ñi di saga ku ko neex fi ni ci deka bi ni te nekku doomi rew mi wa IGP moy dajé mom joxante xay 5 ba ñuy xaxataay kooku ngeen ñu wax ne kooku hero la under his leadership is when we saw ñi ñoo xamantene loi bi moo leen bàyyil ñii defuñ fi dara loo leen di tuumal ay tuuma rek la teguwul si benn dëgga loi bi bàyyi leen IGP bi nii si kaw yi ñàkk topp loi dem téye leen di leen toroxal delloo leen mayeltu te tegul ko si dara kooku ngeen ñu bëgg a wax ne hero la ban façon hero la IGP under his leadership ay doomi réew mi nii ay xale yu jigéen ku génn ci man léegi sax dama dee ragal comme ay sa raka yi si koñ bi ay yooyu noonu ñun suñu naree génn ndax duñ leen rey moo soon doon la wo brufut bere bere fanka wasanda suma fanka la look at the girl that was found around suñ koñ ñu fekk ko si mbedda bi si tali bi noonu ñu ngi ko rey ba pare teddal ko foofu noonu ma ne this mari ak brodaam koo xamante ne ñu ngi leen fekk seen biir kër ñu rey leen ba pare di dog seen body parts yi. How disgusting and despicable is that? How many other young women were found in their work locations and were killed in gruesome manners under the watchful eyes of this IGP as the the Inspector General of Police, who should be responsible for our internal security, who is secured in this country. So if you give that person a heroic award, tell us what has he done to actually protect the lives and properties of Gambians, if not to criminally connive and of course frame innocent Gambians in a way or another, or to go after young people whose only crime is to seek accountability and transparency in our government. That is the person you want to tell is a hero. A hero of what? Go. Albe refa la na leta fa immigration le min fisiara na bol min be spending la ko dangol tebe e be pongo dike le ka fo nyaadi la fo passport lomba. But anyway, I did not intend to stay too long, man. I think that's sufficiently addressed. But one thing that actually baffled me is somebody who sits in a wheelchair, cannot walk on his own, no matter what. How could such a person escape from our prisons? This is what happened, and they cannot hide it because a lot of things would happen, and they will actually try to brush it under the carpet, and they will just want to let it go. No. IGP, I know that you people and your police WhatsApp groups, people are trying to vote for you. Police police 10,000 fire, maybe they will give him the award. But to the ordinary Gambian citizen, you deserve nothing of short. To the ordinary common Gambian, you don't deserve it. To the ordinary and a common man in the streets of the Gambia, whose lives are not secured, who could be killed at any time, their properties, one in the government offices, ya faje. Moli ya lonke be siri la birol te be wafuro la je mol kata ke faje mol kata ta ma kan silo la mol ke faje mol be la cordal kono they are not secured, mol be spiritual kan they are not secured, mol be la doku dal to they are not secured. Oh, but the IGP is a hero. Alka reforms nyolle fena mu reform sifa la wota la fonya bay mu reform la ke wota na manke fonding ker min yalon ko jarta la e jarta palasol soto la e mo kendo le be doku kendo la nyim police alke sambadu la jangol to in the region so that woleta woto alke frustrate pour ye fonya police mo jamal min yalon ko kilinkin wol ni wolta ratu ba wudu karangol woltina la fentem fo how screwed the system is. Moro, we will confront this system without any fear. Kado dunia ku fula drone be sodaring balu wolong wala saya long ando lungo min na jongo nyanta fala jonta balu la wolong bara balu lungo fana jonta sala de al nyanta wala lon na be ka nyanta nyim banko kan tilengo nin to nyal nyanta wala tamandila amanke na tapale yani nakarede simply and squarely because min diata adama yato ka bara wala amanke ko min tilengo nin to nyati atol mo kiri ngol wulta ali o president kili ngo jikindi ko atonya useno bo janne police fa ngamara ali ala appeal dundle mbalo patu kan lungo min appeal court bem commandel. And one thing to the appeal court, you cannot delay this matter on the basis that it's an election year just to say that, oh, people are not going to talk about it. We will continue to. I'm giving you just a little space of time, and I'm going to consult with the lawyer responsible to know what exactly where we are now, because we know that you already did your appeal and the summons have already been, submitted. Call out the case and of course deal with it decisively. You cannot normalize injustice and perpetrating heinous crimes on ordinary citizens of this country. You cannot send 2 young men and put them on a station and go and kill them gruesomely and turn around and be lying to the citizenry. You connive again and then trying to arrest those people under the orders of the current interior minister. Along under this watchful eyes of this IGP that people were caught with a bunker of drugs. Alme Sambakitiola to actually bring the quantity of the drug. You did not quantify the drugs, but you went into court to actually put on flimsy charges and then allow those people to pay 25 million, about 2 or 3 properties and cars, and then just let them go. Many alonko wolmunyi big bandil top criminals. Many alonko drug lords lo wolde nimbanko dol don 10 yol bunkido le efa. But atol de wolle buletate la hajo le kwete lo hero. What is so heroic about you? I have no hate against you, but I will account you on the basis of transparency, accountability, on the basis of which, you are employed in this position. We know there are a lot of applications in this country, social media apps, because you are the darlings of those people. They will never criticize you because that is how selective they are in their doings. But in Tolomang, we don't care about that. All we care about is accountability, and accountability cannot be selective and cannot be of convenience. It must cut across all people, irrespective of who you are. But one thing I know is I don't publicly attack people not even those that I think are my associates. I don't just publicly come and attack people. But if you attack me, remember one thing. Ita siaranda di sanjitan ni lulu wala minta mbita wala ngai kuma tilimbalo fanya ko ngeni ala tujembeni ala jumaatu laje tamam futa wota folode nye min tilin nambola tilin nela kaira sabati ayela nga kontinenno dunia be wala nyama wonten kuti de. At some point in this country there is a way to deal with people, because there is always a way to deal with every situation. Dole beje ke nyaka so wala dole beje, you have to deal with them decisively. It's as simple as that. Para Gambia lom banku de mi yalon ko hanen mo min kasi puso ko ne ka kana prison ol kono auto prison police la lal fanga jibe kude alla nyaton ko nyante fanga jibe kula la de ha alka nyindi ngol min victim al ko lo bay do ko la ay kana teta la wuli kana ta kar la wuli kan ay there is a scheme within the system that always makes certain people escape. Many yalon ko mo bandi bala de ka to mo min kasi puso ko no be escape no la prison nyadila al ko nyina masa ko ndatili no den ro nyanda carte fayla nyinda jartala. Many along ko welcome mulu ballet do wala because of your ethnicity, welcome mulu ballet do wala because of your dami, welcome mulu ballet do wala simply and squarely because ita mo manding ko wala mo kudolat. Hey, batar wala mo danyim bankoka. But yalong niye wasi falije ebe kere nyim bankoka. Banko mo lebe sirim be tanko nimbe daring, and we normalize all of this kind of things. Jumale ba furuta moti nyim banko kan fay ka ko karmanta nyim palasi kar soro la kado aman dia sidi njaile karmanta nyim palasi soro la kado sidi njaile baroko la ka ta kala jang wala nanda ka ho mole. One thing is, Gambia's political paradox is such that when you want to analyze it, you understand that it's just complete garbage, because the strength of the new Gambia lied in its vagueness in the sense that oh, this is not what we voted for. In 2016-17 we were very critical of the direction of this country, because we knew someday somehow self-perpetuation no